Hello folks, so this is your friend Coach Eddie once more. This time let's look at how to set up a trade that hasn't got the risk of liquidation, what people are calling a no liquidation 1x trade. Now, just to explain, this sort of trade mathematically is not liquidatable for the sole reason of it being 1x. Now 1x is your position amount leverage. It's not your nominal leverage or the leverage that you choose when you are making the trade. Okay, but when you compare your position amount to your capital, is 1:1. Okay, that is why it is called 1x leverage. But as you see, as we are setting up the trade, you may choose 10x or maybe some other leverage. So now let's get right in. Let me use this robot. This robot has some trades already. Okay, so don't mind those trades at all. First let's check. You check your assets. Now over here we have 278 as the money in our futures account, but for the sake of this explanation, imagine it is your account and you have what, $500. Okay, so let's imagine that we are starting a new account. We have $500 in our futures wallet available. So now, how do we go about okay, so let me get this one away. How do we go about setting up the trade? Now you begin first by asking yourself, how many coins do you want to trade? Do you want to trade just one coin with your 500, which is not a bad idea? Some people may even trade 2,000 with one single coin, or 2 coins or 3 coins. So after you've answered that question, let's say for this case, let me use one coin to explain. Then we'll also look at if it was 2 coins. Okay, so when you choose one coin, then you know that you are going to spend all the $500 capital on that one coin. Maybe it may be Ethereum or BNB or BTC or any other coin of your choice. But if you choose to use 2 coins, then that means you have to split the $500 in between the two and give maybe one $300 and the other $200, or 250 or whatever amount you may choose. That is what you do first. Second thing is that you come to your robot, you come to manual, and in this case I'll use the DCA robot. So now that I decided that in the first scenario I'm going to use only Ethereum, I click on the select crypto. It's BTC here, so I click on that and then choose Ethereum. Okay, now we have long here, we have short here, and then auto single is also popular. Now long trade means that you anticipate the trade going, the prices going up. Short trade is where you anticipate the market prices going down, and when it goes down you make a profit. Okay, now this auto single that we have here means that you are not sure whether it will go up or down. Okay, so you just leave the choice of whether it should be long trade or short trade to the robot to choose for you. So that is why we have auto single. If you have auto single, what that means is that it's going to set up just one trade, okay, at a time, and when that trade is over, it will check the system or the market to determine the trend. So if it is going downwards, it will set a short trade. If it's going upwards, it will set a long trade. But remember, it cannot set up a new trade if it has not finished the previous trade. So that's how the auto single works. It has to sell the trade before it will change the trend. So now, for the purposes of this demonstration and for your learning purposes, you can either choose long, okay, or auto single. That is if you are not sure. But if you know definitely that the market is going to fall, fine, then you can choose your short. Okay, so now let's say we put it on auto single. We want the system or the robot to determine the direction we should trade for us. So you choose that. If it is long that you want, I prefer long. I'll bring it here. Okay, but let's just leave it here and see. So the next thing from here is to come way down to your leverage. Okay, now as I was explaining, this leverage that we are choosing here, we said the trade is 1x because we don't want it to be liquidated. If you have any trade that is 1x, position amount 1x, it means that unless the value of that particular coin you are trading come to as low as 0 before you can be liquidated. If BTC or Ethereum or whichever trade you are trading comes to 0 before you can be liquidated with this type of trade. Okay, so that that leverage is the position amount leverage, that is considering your capital and your position amount that you choose. So for here, we are just going to choose a higher leverage, let's say 10, just so that it can give us room to operate. Okay, and this means that the trade is going to have extra money in the account. Okay, so that is why we choose 10x, although we are calling it a 1x trade. I am spending some time on it so that you understand, because it can be quite confusing when you are calling it 1x and some will see that you have chosen 10x. So 10x is the nominal leverage, but as you will see, we will use 1x when calculating our position amounts. So let's also increase the maximum orders to 3. Maximum orders 3 means that when we launch this trade, it will buy the first order, and after that there are 2 more orders that it can buy. Okay, that is why you need to allocate a lot of money to that trade. Okay, so that's why we are allocating 500 only for Ethereum. So 3 max orders, like I said, means that after we launch this trade, which is the first order, there are 2 more trades that the robot can launch for you. Now the next thing that we are seeing, let's do price gap. There is size multiple, but let's look at price gap before. Now let me click on the customize over here, and as we have it now, it means that after the first order, that is the one that we launch, when the price of Ethereum goes down by 1.58%, the robot should buy you the second order. Okay, but knowing how Ethereum behaves, I'm going to go with 2.5. okay, 2.5. So I will allow, or you could do 3. Okay, let me use 3 for the second one. So when Ethereum falls by 2.5%, the second order will be kicked in. When it falls by another 3%, then the third order will kick in. So that is how we choose the price gap. Okay, but you can change it to whatever you want. You could use 5%, 5%. So now let's look at the size multiple. the size multiple, and here again let me click on customize. This is what I'm clicking on, okay, so that you understand it better. Customize here means that after the first order which we have launched, on launching the first order is going to launch the initial position amount, okay, which we are about to choose. It will launch that amount. Now afterwards, if the price goes down by 2.5%, which we have chosen in our price gap, it will now do the second order. Now the second order, it will, because of what we are choosing here, the robot will multiply the initial amount by 1.2. okay, in other words, it will buy more. That's the meaning of what we have here. So if you have enough money, you could decide that on the second order, let it buy 1.5, okay, or you can decide to keep it to 1.2. It's your choice, or maybe 1.3. okay, anything goes, provided that you understand what you are doing. Okay, so when you put those parameters here, or when you choose something like this, your take profit here is 0.83%. okay, and that means that when the price goes above where you are starting, the point at which you have bought the Ethereum, by 0.83%, let me make sure you understand what I mean, then it will sell your Ethereum and keep the profit for you. So that's what this take profit percentage means over there. Now, having done this, then we go back to the top, and then we determine our initial position and the maximum position. So after doing that, we are not going down again. Okay, we end at initial position and maximum position, and then let me just add this one. We want the trade to be a continuous one. Okay, so we choose cycle instead of single. By default, it is on single these days, but we choose cycle. Okay, so you can do that, and then you concentrate on your initial position and max positions. Now you see this information here. It is telling us that one contract, okay, futures is traded in contracts. So mind you, this is not count or count as some people think. It means contract. One contract equals $37. Okay, one contract equals $37, or is equivalent to $37. So after it launches this uh, first trade, or initial trade, or first order, there are 3 more orders that it can launch. Okay, and how much will the robot use to launch all those trades? That is what is given us by this maximum order or maximum position. Now the max position that we are seeing here is 5 contracts, which is equivalent to $188. So now what I want you to notice is this amount. Is this amount 188. This is the starting amount, or the initial position. Okay, do not think about the question of how much of your money is inside the trade and all that. Just focus on these 2 amounts, the initial amount and then the maximum amount, and like we said, we want it to be what? $500. This is what you want to be $500, the maximum position. Okay, so here is what you do. You just use this bar here. Okay, or you could change the numbers over here. You could type different numbers over there, but let's just use the bar. Okay, so I'll hold this, and then as I am extending the bar, keep watching what is happening over here. Okay, so let's try again. Now we have 488. Okay, and the initial position is 112, which is the equivalent of 3 contracts. Okay, so that means that we are going to launch $112 of this Ethereum. Upon the second and the third order, we are going to end up with $488, okay, as our investment. When we slide it further to 4, we have $827. It's way higher than what we intended. Okay, now if you change anything down here, like the size multiple, like the size multiple or the max orders, I would not recommend you to change the max orders, but if you change the size multiple, it can also change the max position that you have here. For instance, if you decide that on the second and third order, I'm not going to increase what I buy, I'll buy the same thing. Okay, like 1.3 here, I've made it 1. Let's just look at this one. Now it has turned to what? 413. From 800 is now 400. Okay, so whatever you have here as size multiple is very important. Okay, if we even do it 1.1, let's see what it gives us over here. 451. Okay, so that's how it works. The size multiple increases how much you buy on the second and third order. So all that you do is, no matter what you've chosen there, just make sure that over here you have something equivalent to your 500. Okay, so we can increase this a little bit to get to our target. Okay, so when you are not getting, you can decide to increase the size multiple a little bit, just tweak it a little bit. Okay, it still gives us 451, no problem. We are still within the target, so then you can launch this trade. Okay, so we click on launch. Don't be afraid to experiment, and it says launch done. So you click on running, and then you see that the trade has started. Now if you remember, I told you that these trades were there already, so we'll not focus on them. This is the trade that we are looking at. The robot saw that at this moment the trend is short, so it started a short trade because we chose auto single. Okay, so that is how you launch the trade. Now let's just go inside and see what happens. As you can see here, our initial position, no, this is our initial position, is 3 contracts, which is equivalent to what? 112 USDT. Our maximum position is 12 contracts, equivalent to what? 450 USDT. Every U that you see here is USDT. So that is how you can read through the trade that we have here and understand the things written here. Okay, so I mentioned it in the other video, but let me just mention that the average price tells you the investment that you have made in the particular coin. Here we have bought only one, as you can see here. The maximum orders are 3. We have done only one order. Okay, the positions that we have bought so far is 3 contracts, equivalent to the amount that you have here. Okay, now the current price is what we have here, 3757, but when we bought it, it was 3756, which means the price is almost the same. Okay, so we have this floating P&L, this little amount, and the same floating P&L in percentage over here. So you can always compare how much you bought your coin over here and compare it to the current price that this coin is trading in, for you to understand how the trade is doing. So that is how we set a trade. And remember, our capital is what? 500. Okay, and the maximum position here is, sorry, let me get to the correct one. Our maximum position here is 451. Okay, that is how we set the 1x trade. You make sure that you are trading within your capital. Okay, it may give you smaller profit than somebody who is doing a riskier trade, but you have your safety assured. If the amount is bigger, you can have something, or you can grow your capital in this way, and then in the future you have a bigger wealth. So thank you very much for following the video. In our other videos, we'll come up with other tricks and other things about trading. Thank you for watching.